Man today?
Yeah, it's been out for about a week, and it just came into our town.
Yeah.
And it's directed by two guys. They call themselves the Daniels, and this is their first feature film that they wrote and directed. I think the only thing that I know that they've done is direct the music video for Turn Down for What, and that was sort of similar in its like effects and the way it was filmed and stuff.
Yeah.
It stars Paul Dano, Daniel Radcliffe, Mary Winstead, and it's basically about Paul Dano's character is trapped on an island and he's about to kill himself, and then a dead body washes it up, and it's Daniel Radcliffe, and then the dead body saves him, and yeah. So, tell me what you think.
I heard about this movie a good few months ago when it premiered at Sundance, and I heard that people walked out of it, and immediately I really wanted to see it. Just heard something about a dead farting corpse, and I really want to see it, and the months have progressed, and we saw it today, and it blew my expectations out of the water. I was really looking forward to this film, and it delivered so much more than I would have expected, and this is definitely, I'd have to say, one of my favorite films of this year so far.
Yeah, we're not going to get too much into the spoilers at all.
Yeah.
I'm just going to let you see it for yourself. But it took me a little bit to really get into it. In my opinion, the first 20 minutes or so were kind of slow, in my opinion. The dialogue was fine for the first 20 minutes, but nearing the end and the second act, it definitely started to pick up for me, and I really, really started to love it. Paul Dano gives an Oscar-worthy performance here. He's so good. He's just a guy who's trying to get back home. He's trying to get to the girl that he really wants to, and his character is a really shy, lonely, what could be described as a weird person. And getting into the weirdness about his character, there's one central theme in it is that weird or being different is perfectly fine.
Right.
And that a majority of society is scared of being weird and being different. And I just thought that, I really enjoyed what they were trying to say with the writing and everything. They told the story very well about that.
People can be scared of what they don't understand all the time.
Exactly, and that it sort of ties into the ending a little bit, but we're not going to get into that.
Yeah.
But Daniel Radcliffe was also good. He was very funny. This movie is also funny.
Yeah.
It has a lot of really awesome comedic elements to it. It looked really good. The cinematography was great. Yeah. It was nicely. It was perfectly filmed for the first time the directors in this, or their first time making a movie. They did a nearly perfect job.
I think that also had to do with partnering with A24, because they've been busting out solid films for a pretty long time now.
Yeah, the central characteristic of an A24 film is it's gonna look amazing, and it definitely looked amazing. The special effects were great.
Yeah,
and there were effects in it.
Almost all practical, from what I could see, which is great to see.
Mm-hmm. And there were parts, when Paul Dano's character was building stuff and creating little figurines and stuff that I really liked, and the Daniels, they used really cool camera angles, and they were really different and really cool looking, and I enjoyed the way it was filmed. This is probably my favorite part of the movie, was the way it was filmed. And I know I said it in the beginning that the dialogue at the first 20 minutes was fine, but as it started to progress, Paul Dano's character and Daniel Radcliffe's character had really great conversations back and forth, especially about Paul Dano's mom.
Yeah.
There was a 20 minutes, or a 10-minute scene that involved that, which tied into Paul Dano's character finally achieving happiness.
They had some really good, deep conversations in the movie. They weren't too deep, but they were intelligent conversations. They weren't just dumb. They actually meant something, which I thought was just great.
Yeah. It was really surprising to see how well this was written by two first-timers. So it was pretty awesome. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, how could we go through? We've been singing the main theme song of this movie for the entire day, and we still haven't talked about the soundtrack yet.
Yeah, the soundtrack is phenomenal.
Yeah, I loved it. He bought it on iTunes. He bought the entire album. It's really good.
Yeah.
It was like mesmerizing. It was almost kind of like surreal.
Yeah.
And they,
Hypnotizing.
yeah, and they used really like shitty songs like Cotton Eye Joe,
Yeah.
but they like made it all
Magical.
angelic sounding. And the same, they also use the Jurassic Park theme,
Yeah.
which is really funny. That sort of ties into the comedic elements and stuff.
Like everything we're talking about, like, from Jurassic Park to Cotton Eye Joe, it all ties in some way that's meaningful. It's not just there to be entertaining. Like, it does mean something.
Yeah, yes. So that's pretty much it. Paul Dano gave an Oscar-worthy performance. Daniel Radcliffe was also good, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She was fine.
Yeah.
She didn't really have any special arc to her character. She was just like a normal girl.
Yeah.
But she was good. I mean, she's always going to be good in whatever she's in. Paul Dano, Oscar-worthy performance, great cinematography, fucking phenomenal direction, and a really great soundtrack with great dialogue and a great message about being different. Definitely check it out. I'm going to give it an A.
I'm going to give this an A+.
An A+? Is this your first A+?
Yeah,
this year?
I
Wow.
think so.
Great.
I've really enjoyed this movie, and I want to touch on the cinematography style. When they were doing the montages and they would only single out just the objects that they were using, I felt almost if it was Edgar Wright-ish cinematography, like Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, I agree.
It's very
Yes.
alive.
Yeah, I can agree. Are you talking about like when Edgar Wright is like in Shaun of the Dead, where he's like getting ready and he's like, you get a quick shot of him brushing his teeth. It's like what's it called? When like the camera angle's like swifting away. We're gonna look it up later, but it's very much like what you're saying. If if you've ever seen any Edgar Wright film, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So that's it. A+. Great movie. Definitely check it out.
Yeah.
That's it. Peace.
Later.